both sides.
Oh,
Because remember they got rid of the 7-man, so now 7-man is like 1A, and then everything else just got bumped up.
just trying to figure out what they. Because I'm used to like Travis, so I'm like.
Yeah, no, those are huge. You know.
We sit up 278.
Morning.
Two.
Yeah.
Hey, good morning. How are you?
Oh, there's no sign in? When they call for it, then you'll just go to the podium. Give your update.
Who are you going to be missing today?
Bob and Brian.
Okay, well, that brings up a question. Are we automatically excusing these guys? They just don't show up?
They have to give us notice.
Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
All right. Good morning. Any public comments?
Good morning. Francisco Partida, Deputy Director for Development and Security at the Brownsville-South Padre Island International Airport. Thank you for having us today. I have two items to kind of showcase, and if I may, I'll just flash the item and then pass it along. This year, we're advertising with 5 NFL teams. With the yearbook, it's 100,000 initial print for each, so that's 500,000 print ads for the Brownsville-South Padre Island International Airport. Obviously, we're showcasing the island. And I'll pass it along. This is the Vikings. And we have the Dallas Cowboys. These are so far the ones that we have received. We're still pending the Chicago Bears, Chicago Bears, LA Chargers, and Detroit Lions. So I'll pass them for the members to take a look. As you know, sometimes, depending on the year, we'll do cooperative marketing, but for the most part, the $225,000 that we have allocated for marketing, we do by ourselves, and we put the South Padre Island name on it. It's on the airport's name. Because of COVID, we haven't done anything recently, but we're in contact with leadership at the CBB, and Teresa and Lori. So hopefully this upcoming year we can do something more significant. The second item, I just want to introduce our Airport Assistant Director, Sean Kelly.
Good morning.
Good morning. Been here for about 3 months. Recent transplant to South Texas, so I'm definitely enjoying the fun, nice, warm weather here, especially on the island. But I look forward to working with you, and if you all have any questions, please, feel free to reach out. Look forward to it. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Welcome. Thank you. Any further public comments?
Some of the team members are planning on going to meet the new CMO and some of the other team members.
IT, we have a Google Meter on, I guess.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Good morning. IT,
Good morning.
I think we need to mute the Google Meet. Are there any further public comments?
I'd like to give a brief update on CVB business.
Wonderful.
We were in Toronto last week for Destination International. It was a great conference, very successful. We had thousands of DMO leaders across the country, in fact, around the world, all convening in Toronto. Great experience, opportunity to meet a lot of my friends and colleagues and just start raising the national awareness of our destination. So it was great to see that. I also met with a Canadian airlift company that's very interested in direct route to Harlingen. So some great news on that end. And of course, if we were to secure this, it would be just an overall benefit for our destination going forward for additional airlift. So more to come on that. April Brown, our special events manager, I'd like to call out some kudos to her. She attended as well and was recognized for 30 Under 30 program for class of 2022 for her interest and leadership in the industry. It's an amazing experience and recognition. And I tell you, for a ballroom that was full with well over 1,300 DMOs and staff, to see not only April's face pop up, but South Padre Island pop up, that was pretty significant. All right, so this is just the first of lots more initiatives like this, so we could just start raising the national interest of our destination. So good stuff there. I also like to report that we're going to post officially our director of sales position this week. So we're looking forward to receiving some great candidates for that. We'll see more to come on that. And I also like to highlight that one event that we're hosting next month, late next month, which is the Texas Association of CVBs. Our island will be visited by many CVB leaders from all around our great state of Texas. It's a great opportunity to network, but also showcase our island amenities. So there's more to come on that, and everybody on point for this association late next month. This will also be their 50th anniversary as well, so it makes it extra special for them. We're expecting about 400 attendees, with a couple hundred overnights. So that's the brief update from the CVB. Again, all good stuff, all good conversation as we move forward with marketing our destination. Thank you.
Wonderful. Thank you. He got a little ahead of me, but my public comment is to welcome Mr. Blake Henry to the CVB. Hopefully everybody's had a chance to speak with him. I think everybody has his email. I encourage everybody here to be as involved as they can without driving them crazy. Schedule a meeting. Don't just be showing up.
We're not doing our job if we don't drive them crazy.
I'm driving if we didn't do that.
Are there any other public comments? Hearing none, we'll move to item 4, approve consent agenda. Is there a motion?
Move to approve the consent agenda.
I would just, before you do that.
Second for the record.
Thank you. Just make mention in one of the reports here, again, Ms. Brown, thank you very much for all the great work you're doing with the events. Mrs. Brown, sorry. One of the reports, number 4, page 4 of the one about the golf tournaments, asked about how many rooms were actually used. They said yes, 25 rooms. And then the answer was no, only 7 rooms. That was what they said. Only 7 rooms were filled. Most of the participants stayed in Airbnbs. I just thought that would be an important point to make here, folks. You know, this is me sitting on my vacation rental chair. But and it's interesting that we do look at these groups. We do need to consider how they might potentially use vacation rentals, not just hotel rooms. Thanks.
Thank you. Is there any more discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Motion carries. Okay, Z-Team. Item 5.1, presentation and discussion by the Zimmerman Agency and Predictive Data Lab on campaign performance KPIs and analytics. Teresa, did you want to start or can they? All right. I know it's just tricky with these online meetings.
Good morning, team. I just
Good
want to
morning.
make sure you can
Sorry
see
about that
the
hiccup
report.
earlier.
Kirsten, we
can
can,
I-
yeah, we
Okay.
can see it. You're up and running.
Perfect. All right, so we're going to dive into the June reporting, looking at our programmatic performance. During June, we ran the Brand or Evergreen campaign, which is our always on approach. And then we also ran our summer campaign, which was April through June. So as you can see, we saw a decrease in overall media spending, primarily due to that summer campaign kind of ramping down since it ended in June, which also contributed to some declines in our impressions, clicks, and conversions. However, we did see June.
I did want to make mention again, we've tried to get this report clear. Up in the right hand, you're looking at the date hand range of June 1 to June 30, but yet in the graph below, you're seeing July. I'm not understanding.
Oh, that we'll get that resolved. I don't know why. This is June with looking month over month to.
It's not the first time we've seen this, but yeah, okay, thank you.
Yep, no problem. But however, with the decreases, we also drove a 32% increase in engagement in terms of click-through rates. Going further down, our historical monthly performance and starting in December. And then looking at our creative performance, as you know, we have been running the by land or by sea creative, in addition to ride a wave and ride a horse and take a tour or take a dip creative. Overall, our land or by sea creative was top performing in terms of engagement and drove over a click-through rate 60% over our benchmark and over 11,000 conversions, closely followed by ride a wave or ride a horse and take a tour or take a dip creative, which performed 40% above our benchmarks.
Again, I got a question here. I'm not sure I understand what you mean by conversions.
Conversions are counting our form fills on the website and the visit website buttons.
On a business listing, Tom, so a vacation rental agency has their listing, their profile on sopadre.com. If they click to call or click to visit the website, or if they fill out a contact form, that's what they're using as conversions.
Okay, but I'm seeing clicks at less than the conversions.
That's the paid campaign, so I think that those are probably going to be overall conversions.
Yes, it's overall conversions for the month of June.
So we paid for 14,000 clicks, but in the month of June, there was basically 16, whatever that number is, almost 17,000 actions taken.
I think what Tom's getting at here, like just on our reporting, if we're talking about paid media, let's pay attention to the paid media campaign. So the conversions click should be paid media and not have the organic in there as well. Otherwise, we have no way to determine the performance of this campaign. And that's what I think he's talking about, right, Tom?
Yes, thank you, Jed.
Agreed. Z-Team, moving forward, if there was a way, please, if you could, unless this is an anomaly, to segment out our paid conversions from our organic conversions. I know it's never perfect, but if we can get as close as we can to it.
This is what we're looking at is all of our paid media.
Okay.
So
well, the question there becomes why there would be more conversions than clicks.
It's looking at, it's also taking into consideration page views. We can filter out the conversions to be specific, but to our website form fills and website button clicks, but this is looking at overall. But when looking at the by land or by sea creative, 11,000 conversions are solely for the form fills and visit website buttons.
All right, now it sounds like we're getting one visitor is creating multiple conversions if they're doing multiple, taking multiple things on it. Is that?
No, that makes sense.
Yeah. Yeah.
I can see that happening. Just want to make sure the data is accurate as possible.
Definitely. In addition to the creative, we also saw that 2 ad sizes were top performing. Those included the 300 by 600 size and the 728 by 90. Those drove the highest engagement and conversions, while we saw the 468 by 60 and 970 by 90 with the lowest engagement, and with optimizations have paused those sizes. We'll continue to monitor and make creative optimizations each month.
Thank you.
Moving into our placement and our placement performance, we've seen that overall, and actually I'm going to move to our site performance. Overall, for our site, our partners, we see that Sojourn has garnered the highest impressions with over 4 million impressions, and then again, over 8,700 conversions, counting those form fills and website buttons. With our Expedia placements, we saw that they contributed to more than 2,200 room nights booked, over 600,000 in gross bookings, and a 44-to-1 ROAS. And then we also see that our video tactics continue to drive strong engagement in terms of video completion rates. As we've seen the campaign run month over month, we see a steady increase the longer it runs. So we recommend shifting some of our Sojourn and Expedia dollars so that we can extend our video tactics through August and September. In addition to that, with our OTT and CTV buys, we were targeting specific markets. Out of those markets, we saw that San Antonio garnered the most impressions, while Dallas and Fort Worth drove the highest video completion rates. Any questions before we move into paid search?
No, you can continue.
All right, looking at paid search, month over month, we continue to gain efficiencies with that 4% decrease in cost per click. And we also saw improvement in conversions with a 7% increase month over month. Looking at our campaign breakdown, we continue to see that brand campaign drive engagement and efficiencies with the lowest cost per click. And knowing that the brand campaign is really important to continue driving and keeping South Padre Island top of mind. We also saw that the events and accommodations campaign and the places to eat were also tied for the second most efficient cost per click, while the events campaign drove the highest engagement in terms of click-through rate. Moving into our ad campaign or ad breakdown, so just giving you some examples of our current ad copy that's running. And then moving into our keyword breakdown, this is just showing some of our top keywords. And one trend that we're seeing right now is that beaches and islands are trending, or their search volumes are increasing. And they're about 25% above what we see as normal levels. And they're predicted to trend through the end of August. So we want to capitalize on this. And so we recommend to implement additional keywords around beaches and islands. And in addition, to make sure that we're remaining competitive and South Padre Island is top of mind, we're going to continue increasing those keyword bids on top performing keywords in terms of engagement and conversions.
I have I have some questions there. I mean, we'll get into the cost, of course, associated with this, but I'm wondering how effective some of that keyword stuff is, because beaches are there. I mean, we're competing right now heavy against people like Vrbo or Expedia, Airbnb, and others right now. So while they perform very well and while we're doing, how much of that really is organic and how much we really need to have to go after it?
Yeah, so we only have a handful of terms around beaches and islands. And so to ensure that we're competitive against other beaches, we do see that it's in our best interest to add those new keywords, specifically more around the theme of beaches in Texas, or a beach vacation type of keywords.
And Kirsten, just to correct me if I'm wrong, but another reason why we do that is because competitors are conquesting against us. So we want to make sure if they're conquesting against us that they're not stealing our business. It's kind of a two-prong approach there.
Yes, that's correct. And that's why we're seeing that search volume or intent increase.
I have a question. How many keywords do we start with, and how many did you filter down based on performance?
I don't have that on me right now, but that's something that we can provide after this meeting.
But Kirsten, if you had to guess, it would start out in like with 50, 100. Like it's a large amount that it starts with.
Yeah, we're probably close to 300 keywords that we started with, and through optimizations, we're probably close to about 2 to 250.
And some words are obviously way cheaper, and some words are more expensive, depending on what the bid price is.
Right. And we would pause keywords that are low performing if they're not generating any engagement or conversions. Then we would pause those.
Okay, thank you.
And then next, jumping into Google Analytics. So this is looking at a year-over-year comparison. As we can see, we've seen slight decreases in our total sessions year over year and our new users. Moving down, we also have our month-over-month site performance since we started. And then looking at our traffic performance, one call out here, and next month it will be, the dashboard will be updated to reflect more of a granular breakout. But the other category is catching some of the paid social and our display traffic. So when looking at the channel grouping, we just want to call out that the other category accounts for about 38% of our display traffic, closely followed by some of our paid social traffic in terms of sessions. And we just included a quick explanation about what the other traffic channel accounts for. So that's web traffic that has a source or medium that's not recognized. While we do have UTM parameters appended to all of our paid media, Google Analytics is still auto filtering some of that display and paid social into the other category. And then our traffic performance year over year. Same call out about the other channel. And then looking at our device performance. So we see that mobile has seen or drives the highest sessions and page views, while desktop has the lowest bounce rate. Another view of the sessions by device. So mobile driving 78% of those sessions. And then looking at our geo performance, you can see that Dallas, Fort Worth, and Chicago are our two top performing geos in terms of sessions. And then lastly is just a heat map of the geo performance.
And where, for our pay-per-click campaigns, just in general, I guess all of our paid search, the geo targets obviously match that. For example, I saw like Atlanta, Georgia, and we're looking at Google Analytics. This is general website traffic, right? Or is it paid search?
It's general website traffic that we're
Okay.
looking at.
Okay.
And then we've also included some additional analytics around the most visited pages. So in terms of sessions and page views, we see that the things to do in South Padre Island, Texas is top, followed by the contact us. And then we also have our goals performance with our organic driving the most completions for the outbound link. And then little bit more detail on the goals as far as the campaigns and then the event label. So you can see our webcam saw over 130,000 total events. And I'll pass it over to Carol Ann.
Thank you. Hi, everyone. We'll start by looking at our Facebook ads performance. You'll see that we added a previous month comparison with all our social KPIs. So June would have been the first month that we really allocated a portion of the Facebook budget on focusing on targeting Mexico with 2 ads for the whole month. Since these ads perform really well, we saw a positive increase overall in our metrics. So you'll see that our impressions rose to 747,000, from 747,000 to 2.8 million. Our link clicks to 42,000 over the 6,000. Our cost per click decreased from 61 cents to 9 cents. And then our click-through rate increased from 1.68% to 2%. Below it, we'll see that our performance rate over time held steady. And then moving down, our creative performance is detailed by the campaign in the chart. You'll see that the top 2 performers on this page are the 2 videos that we ran in Spanish in Mexico. Each one, like the first one had over 1.5 million impressions, while the second one did 819,000. So moving forward, we are realizing Mexico is a very coveted market that definitely performs well for us, and we will continue to include them. And then moving down, heading to TikTok social. Our 2 campaigns totaled over 584,000 impressions, 1,600 likes, and over 6,500 link clicks. This month averaged over 46 cents cost per click, which is definitely below our industry standard of $1 cost per click. And then moving on to the next slide. With Snapchat, we continue also to perform strong there. Our campaign garnered over 230,000 impressions and close to 6,000 swipe ups or link clicks. And then that just details week over week our Snapchat performance.
And then for our June insights and recommendations, I won't go into too detail because we've already touched on this, but really looking at the recommendations. So again, our video tactics are driving high engagement, and as the campaign runs longer, we see that performance, is gaining more momentum. So we recommend shifting some dollars from Sojourn and Expedia so that we can extend those video campaigns into August and September. And then just a few optimization notes that we'll continue to increase bids on top performing tactics and audiences. And then we'll continue to look at our top ad sizes to drive engagement and to find those efficiencies and pause those that are lowering overall performance. And then also with paid search, again, to capitalize on the competitive increase in beaches and islands, recommend to increase keywords around beaches and islands. Also to continue increasing our keyword bids so that we remain competitive against those that are bidding against those keywords. And then we'll continue to optimize the campaign by looking at our top performing devices and audiences and optimize towards those.
I just have some general questions. I think I might have missed it. What was our spend during this campaign on our Facebook ads? I caught it on Snapchat, but I didn't catch it on TikTok and Facebook?
Yeah. So overall in June, we spent 3,500 on Facebook and Insta.
How much was it?
3,500.
3,500 on Facebook and Insta. Snapchat was 3,000, and how much was TikTok?
3,000.
3,000. How much do we spend on display ads in that same time period, please?
Display, we spent 49,766.
4,900.
49,000, and that's not only our digital display, but that would include our Expedia, our Travel Spike Native, and our video campaigns.
And I saw your recommendation. According to this, we booked 2,300 room nights on Expedia, correct? 2,200. Okay.
2,200.
My peepers aren't that good. So, but your recommendation was to move some of the budget off Expedia to video. I know the video conversion rate was high but I guess the tracking on the rooms booked, Expedia looks pretty exceptional. One more question on that before you answer that is on Expedia. Are they providing back the data on the room nights? I saw it was 1 to 2 nights. Are these Friday and Saturday nights versus Sunday to Thursday?
That's something we can, I can send after this.
Yeah.
I'd also be curious as to how much of those are hotels versus vacation rentals. Sorry.
Absolutely. But I think going back to this, when we have such a high spend on display ads, I just know from my businesses, I'd probably flip these on its head. Like I'd be spending that much on social, not on display ads, just because of the fact that we are, as a destination marketing organization, we're trying to raise awareness for South Padre Island, and social is the best way to do it. I'll never be on board with this heavy display ad spend. I never will be, no matter what's presented.
In regards to shifting budget from Sojourn and Expedia, the reason why we chose those two platforms, specifically Expedia, so we have the scale to continue to drive those room nights booked, but then being able to pull a minimal budget from that per month to be able to continue the video campaigns.
What's the total budget when you got display and your social media put together? You got 49,000 you said on display, and between Facebook, Snapchat, and all those, what's that total together?
It's $9,000.
I know.
About 10,000.
No more. 49 plus the other all together.
Well, the display ads are 49,000. Looked at about 11,000 on social.
Yeah, it'd be around 5960.
Mm-hmm.
So around 60,000.
Yes.
Well, I think some of that may have to do with the fact that most of the social media stuff's handled in-house.
It's just it's just the amount of our budget. Just see, look, I remember I was always hammering on heads and beds, so that goes into direct pay-per-click, right, or Expedia. Like, hey, we can track this so many room nights it was. We get into soft stuff like whether it's billboards, display ads, or social. I don't think it's just my opinion that social should probably be the driving force on that. When I'm seeing, like on Facebook, we're paying 9 cents a click in Mexico for that market. I don't like focusing on cost per click because if the conversions are high, it could be $5 a click, who cares? But we know that's a super low-hanging fruit. We keep avoiding these low-hanging fruits, and that's where I'm at on social. $100 a day on Snapchat is ridiculously low. Like, we spend that just on student travel in the fall on Snapchat, right? It's just one little company. And I know that's our business, but I'm just saying, overall, if we're going to raise awareness, that's where it should be coming from. Display ads, I'm trying to think last time I clicked on one. Whoops, I can't remember. I mean, I don't think I'm odd like that, and I know that I'm in this demographic because of the age of my children, right? And my home address, my IP shows is Austin, Texas. So that's kind of where I'm going with this is, I don't search the internet up there much. I'm mostly here in my office, but I'm just saying when I go to my second home up there, if I see display ads and South Padre, I'm not going to click on it anyway. Social, I'd pay a lot more attention to. But anyway, again, it's just one opinion. I feel that I could bring the evidences. Y'all are a marketing agency, and I just feel that should be brought to a real point here is our marketing budget isn't being spent, I think, very smart here.
Well, there's a whole other discussion I want to have in just a minute relative to those kinds of things, but we can finish this first.
And those are just statements. I mean, you can move on.
Thank you, Z-Team. You can go ahead. Continue, please.
All right. I'll pass it back over to paid social.
All right, so yes, overall, TikTok and Snapchat continue to be those strong platforms to reach audience members and gain the most link clicks and swipe ups. Our budget increase to these two platforms began in June and will continue to run through September. And then additionally, we split that Facebook budget on Facebook and Instagram to run ads in Mexico as well as the US, resulting in those higher engagement and lower CPCs. So that month we focused on running general awareness ads and also a 4th of July fireworks ad at the end of the month. So in Facebook, as we've all previously noted, our general awareness ad in Mexico closed at 2 cents cost per click. Moving forward, we recommend increasing the July budget for those Mexico ads. As hard as it gets, video ended with a strong performance at 17 cents per click. We'll continue to optimize targeting and also refreshing content as always with new campaign videos to avoid ad fatigue. Our July fireworks show promo ran at the end of the month, targeting both US and Mexico cities. US had a 21 cents cost per click, while Mexico had 3 cents cost per click. On Instagram, general awareness ads in Mexico ended strongly as well at 24 cents cost per click, 3,500 link clicks, and close to 1.5 million impressions. Our US ad got $1.46 cost per click. So with that being said, our teams are working on creating another video composed of general activities, which we would run that in this month in order to refresh the content served. And then going down, Snapchat, as we noted, our general awareness ad came out at 51 cents cost per click and over 230,000 impressions. And then on TikTok, this platform has been the most efficient in terms of average cost per click across the board. Over the next few months, we will continue to refresh video content to prevent ad fatigue with new campaign spots that are being developed and clips that the team produces.
Thank you.
And that's it.
Thank you. Any questions for the Z team?
No, but I have just some comments for us, discussion for us here, guys. In our own business and what I'm seeing right now is what's an incredibly short booking window. And to me, looking at last year versus this year, it's just, the advanced reservations, advanced bookings versus what we're seeing right now. And it's leaving me to kind of be concerned about not surely really what's going to happen in the fall. And I don't know what kind of opinions you guys have or what you're seeing right now in terms of where we're going, but I also wonder if they're in that thought process, is there something we need to pivot on right now as a result?
Well, now's the time.
Right.
We're discussing how June was and what we did. I feel that we need to be discussing the off season. We need to be discussing, we all know what's about to happen. We all know school's about to start. We all know Labor Day's going to happen, and we're just going to go straight down. I don't want to be discussing October, November. Well, yeah, September was down and all that. We already know that. So what are we going to do right now to sit there and help those numbers go up?
It looks like the booking window, just in general, bookings is going to be kind of pre-COVID, right? And we know when school starts, it's going to be a shorter stay because of that school. We know our market gets closer to the island, that San Antonio, Houston South. It just gets more exaggerated. But
September weekends, it's going to be, we're still going to be busy. That's just the norm. But the Sunday through Thursday, because kids are in school, what are we doing? We're going to be sitting here twiddling our fingers. I mean, yeah, that's correct. The rest of the year.
Round.
But I'm just saying that's what we should be discussing. Where are we going to spend our money? Where are we going to be marketing? Who's the market segment? Who are the travelers, the honeymooners, the couples, the reunions, et cetera, the ones that don't have kids? What are we as a board giving the guidance to sit there and market to them? Why is it we go to Mexico and Cancun and just Sunday through Thursday, they just have people just turn over, and they're not taking kids?
Well, again, and we'll get some of this from Predictive Data Labs here in a minute too, and ask questions from them. But the question is, okay, you've got high inflation rates, you got gas rates that are up, you got people that are now waiting until, well, okay, let's just go ahead and take a vacation.
Last minute.
last minute kind of stuff that's taking place. How do we talk to them? How do we get to them? Who are they? And you're already identifying some of those areas. I agree. But, I'm just, how do we get ahead of this?
That's the question, and that's what the whole island's going to rely on us. And I don't want to sit there and be come November, December, and us discussing, September was off, and we only had so many impressions and only so many clicks. We already know the needle's going to drop. We already know that.
And really, the Sunday to Thursday is year round. It's not just in summer. Like nobody here is going to say we need Friday, Saturday advertising in summer. Like that's unneeded. And so we're running general campaigns for Family Beach year round. Well, the Family Beach, when school starts, that's when we nosedive. And that there's no change to that really. But you're right. Panama City, I've got a friend over there, the VRM. Their season's twice as long as ours in the summer. Well, why is that? Well, they're closer to Atlanta and big population centers. But we have Houston and San Antonio and Austin. These are booming areas, and they're very large metro areas as well.
We got flights coming in.
And we have flights. So that we have to redirect our focus to that Sunday, Thursday, I think on a year-round basis, not just, it's fall, let's look at it.
February.
I think in the fall, look, it may be only weekends because that's the reality of what we have. They're coming in quick weekends. But in the summer, that's absurd. We need the longer stays. Everybody wants them anyway. But let's say it's not. Even hotels that Sunday, Thursday, their rates are dirt cheap compared to Friday, Saturday. We're the same on the VRM side. If, you want to come in Monday, Tuesday? Well, the rate's half off almost. So that's just something we're going to have to look at as a board and with our marketing agency is we've got to figure that out a little bit better, I think, or a lot better. I'm not sure. But in the summer, look, there's been a couple weeks. We had the 4th of July week, this week, next week. Actually, midweek's busy. I was on the beach yesterday with my kids. It was busy. I've only seen that one other time so far this summer. It was the 4th of July. I think that's kind of ridiculous. Okay, midweek it's summer. It should be busy all the time. You can blame inflation, gas prices, but I'm going to say our bookings should be better then because they don't have to get airfare. It's actually a cheaper vacation at the end of the day, so you can load everybody up in the SUV. Again, these are just statements, but that Sunday, Thursday is it. My opinion, the weekend in the falls, it becomes weekends and groups and conventions. We're going to get into that in a second, but in October, it looks like we have two booked events in October on here. That's kind of skinny, with groups and conventions. That's where it's going to be, especially for our hotels. That's it.
But what's the campaign right now? What do we have in the books? I guess I'm talking to the Zimmerman and our in-house. What do we have programmed for this upcoming September, October? And I know budget changes and all that, but I don't want to get into that. Just bottom line, what do we have programmed for September, October, November, as far as marketing and all that?
We have an approved media plan that, I don't know if Teresa has it with her right now, but it showcases what we've discussed. Teresa, do you have any information, or can you give us just kind of a quick recap on fall?
Yes, good morning. Teresa Rodriguez, Senior Marketing and Communications for the CBB. Yes, we're preparing for the fall campaign. We've been strong in getting into the Canadian market also. And we are focusing on groups and meetings. In Mexico, we are already doing a campaign right now, like plan your next family reunion here in South Padre Island. We just did a small article in an interview with a family that came over here together with the sales team. They helped me into getting this together. It was like close to 50 family members that have been coming here since 2008. And we wanted to make a big story about that South Padre Island is the place to come here and get your family reunions. For couples without kids, we are focusing in Dallas, San Antonio, Houston, and of course in the Rio Grande Valley. We continue doing what we've been doing, that promoting as a beach destination. But now also in Mexico, we're trying to focus more into this is the time to come with your a special someone, not just the family and kids. So that's what we've been doing. That's what we are focusing. We're increasing our social media paid ads because we realize how much we are being able to achieve from it. And we will continue in doing that. Also with Blake going into Canada and seeing that opportunity, we are also focusing on that. We're going to have 2 billboards right now over there and some other things that we're planning together with the Harlingen International Airport.
Thank you. Does anybody have any more questions for Teresa? Do you gentlemen want me to call a special meeting to discuss the fall marketing campaign?
I would. I don't want to be behind the 8 ball.
All right. I'll get with Blake and we'll look at the calendar.
Thank
And
you.
I think also we have to, when we do meet or whoever's in that meeting, have to consider what are we running now for that, right?
Correct.
Because you have to get in front of people's faces ahead of
She
time.
has that.
Okay.
You know.
So that way we know.
Yeah, we'll prepare a report for you guys.
We're going to panic, Teresa. That's what's going to happen.
That's right.
So.
Yeah, because we already know what's going to happen. And therefore, of course, going back and, we've discussed this, we already know meetings and conventions, and this is the time frame. So if we had groups and all that, we wouldn't have these conversations and stuff like that. But we just, the groups are going to be here the Monday through Thursday, and we wouldn't have to worry about weekends and stuff like
I'm
that.
with you. We're all saying the organic demand drop, and we don't have the groups on the books we used to.
So, and it's going to take some time. It's not going to be, Blake's on board. He's going to bring director of sales and our sales team. It doesn't take.
You have 30 days, Blake.
Yeah. Yeah. It takes, groups book 2 years. It takes, 2 years to get them here and things of that sort. But what are we going to do now? We got to come up with something to spread that throughout the island. And there's dollars.
So true.
We have money, right? So therefore.
We'll get together as soon as we can.
Okay, well, I would like to add to that discussion when we get together also more about a brand, South Padre Island, in terms of what it is. I think that Teresa hits on it very well right there, and we start talking about families or groups. I think it's important that we understand who we are. Again, I keep bringing this up, and I'm going to keep bringing it up. South Padre Island is not a world-class destination. It is a first-class destination, beach destination for groups and families. And that's we just need to keep saying that and keep saying that. That needs to be consistent in everything we do. It's a first-class family beach destination for families and groups.
I'll put it on the agenda. Okay. I like to move things along, gentlemen, if there's nothing else for the Z team. PDL, are you on the line?
Yes, we are here.
Thank you so much for your patience.
No worries at all. And I know, first of all, good morning, everybody. I know we have some new faces on the meeting, so I just want to make sure that we reintroduce ourselves. My name is Angela Dillon. I'm the account director with Predictive Data Lab. We are a business intelligence and analytics company based in Austin, Texas. And we have some really interesting insights to share with you today. We have our senior data analyst on the call, Atik, and he will be walking us through. Atik, take it away.
Absolutely. Thank you, Angeli. So can everybody see my screen okay?
Yes, Atik.
Awesome. Okay, so yes, like Angeli said, so we are going to go into some of the paid media performance, kind of adding on to what the Zimmerman team talked about. But first, we want to start off with both the competitor and historical analysis when we look at both vacation rental and hotel metrics. Then we want to follow with the media metrics and then web analytics. And then we want to conclude with traveler intelligence along with the economic impact report. So starting off with the hotel and vacation rental data. So what we saw for the month of June of 2022 is that Port Aransas actually overtook South Padre Island in terms of occupancy, ADR, and RevPAR when we averaged out both hotels and vacation rentals. We also additionally saw Texas Gulf Coast overtake South Padre with RevPAR and ADR. We attribute this to the fact that so recently Texas, basically Corpus Christi rebranded as Texas Gulf Coast. And so it's essentially tracking a larger area than previously. And that's what we attribute that increase to. However, with Port Aransas, we've kind of seen this pattern coming from the previous months. And so we wanted to take a deeper dive into this. And so what we did is we actually specifically looked into Airbnb in order to get an idea of exactly what kind of rooms Port Aransas is offering versus what kind of rooms and vacation rentals South Padre is offering. So when we did that, on the left, we have South Padre, on the right, we have Port Aransas. And what we see is that Port Aransas actually offers a higher percentage of entire homes versus South Padre, which offers more condos, townhouses, smaller areas, essentially. Additionally, what we saw in terms of average guest space is that Port Aransas offered more in terms of average guest space. And then we also saw, even in terms of the average star rating, Port Aransas was a little bit higher than South Padre Island. So we do think that a large portion of what we're seeing here is driven by Port Aransas's larger, I guess, supply of vacation rentals that are entire homes versus just condos and townhouses. Any questions on that?
Yep. Just out of curiosity, does that actually include the Rockport also for Port Aransas, or is it only Port Aransas?
So I believe it's only Port Aransas, but I'll double check. Yeah, I'll double check on that. But any other questions?
No.
Thank you.
All right. No problem. So I also wanted to look into hotels because, again, what we saw in the first slide was an average of hotels and vacation rentals. So I wanted to see the real difference here. And what we found is that actually South Padre offers more higher end hotels with these $200 plus price ranges, and even a higher percentage of $150 to $200 price range hotels. That being said, Port Aransas offers more of these mid-range price hotels at $100 to $150. And then additionally, something that we saw that we wanted to bring to the attention of the board was that we did see that Port Aransas was also trending a little bit higher in terms of the reviews that these hotels were getting. Now, this is only TripAdvisor. We do have the ability to look at other, hotel sites and destination sites, but we wanted to kind of get an idea of is South Padre currently doing something to kind of get feedback from customers? And then B, like, if so, I mean, we think that would be a good idea to include that in these presentations, just so we do get an idea of exactly what feedback we're getting in terms of both vacation rentals and hotels of the island. I know it's difficult to get because it's kind of spread out, but we did want to ask, is there any system that South Padre currently has in place to get that customer feedback?
Not to my knowledge, no.
Okay. Yeah, so we definitely think that could be a room for improvement for South Padre in the sense that if you kind of drive, there are ways to drive reviews to these sites, to Google businesses, and to kind of increase your visibility. It's not kind of on a more organic way in the sense that you're driving reviews and that kind of boosts you up in terms of Google and visibility. So we do have that as a recommendation that we could potentially help you guys with in terms of when you're looking at, getting your numbers higher than Port Aransas.
Take on what channels? On Expedia or Google or both?
So essentially what we would be suggesting is a reputation management platform, and it would be all of the above essentially. So you'd be looking to essentially create a survey type platform, an online survey that you'd make easy for people who travel to South Padre to easy for them to access. And then essentially it would guide them to leaving a review on a plethora of different sites. There's also some technologies that we can use where one review will then spread out to multiple sites. But really, we think the lowest hanging fruit are obviously Google. That's probably the highest that we recommend, like your Google My Business page. But then also branching out to some of these travel agency sites, also Airbnb, and also hotel sites.
Okay. Someone's supposed to get with you on that?
Yeah, so I'm working with Lori and Teresa on that.
Okay, great.
Yeah.
I have a quick question on Port Aransas versus South Padre. What was the total number of hotel rooms per destination?
So we don't have the number of hotel rooms for Port Aransas. That being said, this data set that we're looking at here, what we did is we took the top 5 pages of both the search queries for Port Aransas and then the search query for South Padre Island.
Okay. I was just wondering because, like, for example, like the price per night, when you have that price level, I mean, does Port Aransas have way more hotel rooms? I have no idea.
Not necessarily. So in this sense,
No.
With this data set, the number wouldn't be affected because it's the same number of hotels that we're looking at for both sites. That's essentially the top 200 that the top 200 results.
Gotcha.
So yeah, the number of hotels isn't really a factor here. This is more to just show that the breakdown of the hotels are a little bit different in terms of Port Aransas offering more of the mid-tier hotels, while South Padre does happen to have more of the higher tier hotels. But again, it's also looking at the reviews, and irregardless of how many hotels are in that data set, we do want a higher number of reviews and ideally a higher score for those reviews.
Well, I also this is it's a confusing area anyway. When you get up to Corpus and Port Aransas and you go all the way up there. It's kind of Mustang Island versus whatever. It's confusing. It's not as cut and dried as we are. And so, yes, because it also becomes important to look at Port O'Connor, Seadrift, Rockport, all those other places. Are they part of this kind of study as well?
Yeah. Oh, I just wanted to add something very quickly to that. We can definitely double check on which areas are we covering, and we can look at that by zip codes, if I'm not mistaken, Atik. But just to give you an idea, this is just a very high level analysis that we did on Port Aransas. So in terms of your questions about what are we doing to stay ahead and to do things in advance, we're also working with Lori and Teresa to develop a competitor analysis, which will be a lot more focused into what are they doing for their marketing campaigns? What's their messaging? Who's going to these destinations? Where are these people coming from? So it's a very in-depth analysis that we're going to be able to do. This is just very high level, which is why it's very simple what you're seeing here.
You guys did some great work earlier this year on where people are coming from into Texas on one of the migration reports. And we're seeing a lot of people come from California and Florida, top two states where people are coming into Texas from, both beach states. And those being both beach states, you kind of expect that the people coming in are going to be looking for a beach. And so what really becomes our competition out here when these people start looking to beaches in the state of Texas, not even really recognizing that some of it's there, but I think it becomes, again, really important for us to understand what our competitive market is at this point.
Right.
Yeah, and we completely agree. And like Angela said, we are working on getting that competitor analysis report put together for a presentation. But so what we can do is we can double check on exactly what areas are covered by key data and STAR when we are looking at each of these locations. We can get that sent over to the board after the meeting. And then as far as the data we're looking at here, again, that's more search query based. So again, it's literally just searching up South Padre Island on a search and Port Aransas on a search and seeing what we get. But like Angela said, we can do a more detailed competitor analysis just to get a better idea of exactly what the competition is in the state of Texas. Any other questions on this?
No, thank you.
So from an historical analysis, we did see a slight decrease from last year. We saw this in occupancy, ADR, RevPAR, and revenue. We do think that there are a multitude of compounding factors that are causing this. So basically the big three that we're looking at are, of course, inflation. We're looking at gas prices. And then finally, something that we're looking at that we've noticed kind of across the board in the state of Texas is that we're seeing more people flying internationally when they travel during the summer this year versus last year. So that may be a reason that we are seeing that decrease from June last year to June this year. Additionally, June last year, it was a situation where a lot of people were just able to begin to travel again after COVID. So again, this could kind of be an anomaly that we're seeing in 2021 versus 2022.
Atik, do you have access to our 2019 data?
29. I don't believe I do, but I could get access, I believe.
Okay. Well, okay. There's no reason to compare it to last year. We know last year was an anomaly, especially in the summertime. And gentlemen, in your inbox, Lori emailed over the hot numbers. Overall revenue is down over last year, slightly. But it's up 35% over 2019 for the month of June.
From last year.
From 2019.
Yeah. It's
Yeah.
up from 19, but down from last year.
I appreciate that, looking at an overall picture, but vacation rentals, I'm not sure what the totals are, but I know that our revenue is better than last year. So is this really, is this something that, and that again, that brings up the issue. I keep vacation rentals versus, who we marketing to, how we marketing to.
Tom, that's true, but that is true across the whole nation. Vacation rentals are becoming a much, much more popular product.
Thank you for making my point. Thank you for making my point.
And we have a bunch of them. And this island is thriving for that very reason. You don't have to stay in a luxury hotel or in a very limited service property.
And thus how we market becomes more important than ever. There's a difference in marketing to a hotel guest than there is to a vacation rental guest.
Well, our desire to be everything to everybody is coming to fruition. So, all right, PDL, you can continue, please.
Yep, absolutely. So then when we look at the paid media performance, we did see a little downtick from the previous month, but that's kind of to be expected because, again, we did have a higher spend in the month of May because the month of June is when the summer campaign was wrapping up. That being said, even with the lesser amount of spend, we did see a good amount of clicks. We saw a really good price efficiency as well. I would like to take note that here, and just to the point of, maybe we should be focusing more on social with our media campaigns. We did see that after we started allocating more funds to TikTok and Snapchat, we did see this decrease in both cost per click and then cost per 1,000 impressions. So again, that does kind of give credence to the idea that maybe there should be more emphasis on social, just because there's a more bang for your buck opportunity there. One other thing I wanted to highlight is that this click-through rate was lower. And one thing we're actually doing to remedy this is, and this goes to the point of kind of the customer segmentation you all discussed, is we are now beginning our customer segmentation project with South Padre Island. We actually will have our first one sent over to Lori and Teresa by end of day tomorrow. And so what we foresee is once we have those customer segments, this will increase because we will have a better idea of who's coming to the island during what season, and therefore we'll be able to market to them with content that they will be more likely to engage with. So that is something that we do look to increase as we complete our customer segmentation studies.
Thank you.
Yep. Any questions on this?
And we look forward to that being effective as far as when?
Yeah, so we're actually gonna have fall finished and sent over to Lori and Teresa by end of day tomorrow. So ideally, that can be something you guys could use during your fall.
That was my question to see.
Kind of fall planning meeting.
The turnaround time, basically. Okay.
Yeah. Basically. And so basically, rough timeline, we're gonna have fall sent over by end of day tomorrow, and then we're gonna actually have winter, spring, and summer the following month.
Awesome.
Thank you.
Yep.
So the goal is for us to be ahead each time so we can have enough time to provide this to the VSBI team, but also to the Zimmerman team so they can adjust their targeting accordingly. And this goes back, I heard multiple times you guys mention families or couples without kids. That's exactly what we're looking at. What are the trends in terms of the personas that are traveling in what seasonalities so we can kind of target them more efficiently.
Thank you.
Yep. So then I wanted to highlight this, again, kind of going back to the really the power of social and especially TikTok. So the previous month we saw family focus and millennial focus, not necessarily underperforming, but kind of not performing as well as we saw the summer and the evergreen campaigns. Like the Z team kind of mentioned, there was some reallocation of funds more towards TikTok, and that did seem to help both of these campaigns. I did also want to highlight that, we got this good amount of clicks for both of these campaigns after switching over to TikTok. And then also we got, again, cost per click isn't everything, but as far as the price efficiency goes, it does seem like these more social-based campaigns are a little bit more price efficient. So that is something that maybe the board can look at going forward. And then we saw this both from a clicks and impression standpoint. Any questions on this?
I think it's just important to say that what Chad was saying earlier just kind of reflects on this as far as social media and
absolutely
digital ads.
Absolutely.
Well, we're always so good to sit there during the off season, want to give $50,000, $25,000 for some event that's going to come down here. We just sat there and earlier saw like TikTok. We had over 1 million impressions, and that only cost us like a couple $1,000s.
Well, and that's what I'm just saying, that the data supports what Chad was saying earlier.
That's correct. So therefore, we think that during the off season, oh yeah, let's have that event. During the off season, $25,000. Let's see how many hotel rooms we can get. When for $5,000, we get 1 million impressions, and how many conversions is that? Which would be way more than having some sponsor some event during the off season. We're not spending the dollars in the right areas, is what I'm trying to say.
Overall, it sounds like Teresa is collaborating with Zimmerman and PDL to make these adjustments.
Correct.
Which, again, she'll be presenting at the special meeting.
Perfect.
Moving forward.
Chad, I got a question for you. If we're looking at social media kind of stuff, is it versus display ads kind of thing, is it really more of a brand campaign than it is a conversion?
Well, yeah, that could be a consideration, but my concern is when we're focusing like on cost efficiency, a cost per click on display could be super cheap, but that click doesn't lead to somebody booking a room. I think our goal here is heads and beds. At the end of the day, we can talk about brand awareness. Like, here's South Padre Island. Did you sell a room on that? The answer is no. I could care less. I think we're in the business here to sell hotel rooms and condo space, houses as well. And if a cost of a visitor, for example, on TikTok, whether it's a brand awareness or book a room today, like social on the book a room today, I don't think that's probably going to be your best campaign. Now on Facebook, Instagram, when you can geo-target so specifically on that, when like we get in the fall, we market super heavy in the valley because that's what we got, right? That is excellent for that. But now on a general awareness, TikTok, if somebody watches that whole TikTok ad, I find a tremendous value in that versus, I saw a display ad on South Padre Island. And that just goes with what I'm trying to translate what e-commerce business does. This information I'm providing here is general knowledge. If you get on Google and type in, should I run a display ad or should I run ads on social? See what the result says on Google, okay? This isn't genius work here, but you have to make a decision like, hey, am I trying to book a room today or am I trying to do brand awareness? I think we are a destination marketing organization, so you've got to have that special blend of mix in there.
Right.
It does go back to Daniel's point, though, like, hey, event comes in front of us for $25,000. We rubber stamp that baby. So we have this huge special events budget, but then we're spending $3,000 a month on TikTok. If you spent $25,000 on TikTok in 1 month, do you know how many rooms that would book?
Correct.
More than 7 hotel rooms or 170, condos. I can just tell you it'd be a huge effect, but we're not going to do that. We need an event in the fall. That's great, but then run huge social in the fall. So that's my 2 cents on that. Now, how that's done, there's lots of arguments on that. Brand awareness, book now.
So you do see social as direct book?
No,
not out of the whole. That's the thing is you're generating interest with that. Like we talked about that, like with our collegiate market. Like, hey, in the fall it's all social. Why? You're raising awareness. Hey, we're here for spring break. Don't forget us, right? When it comes to book now, then you go heavy second semester on your pay-per-click on Google because they're looking to go, right? So it depends on your booking window a little bit to answer that question. Like, hey, we want to book rooms in September. It's probably lots of pay-per-click. Is it display ads or social? No, but the social campaign, it shouldn't be so seasonal. It should be something we just run year-round. Here's the budget for it. Awesome brand awareness, right?
Yeah, I appreciate the answer, but you can see where I'm going with the question, and there's a lot more to it, and we don't have time to get into it here, but thank you very much.
Thank you, PDL. Please continue.
Of course. Then when we look at specific traffic source, again, we do see that as far as clicks, StackAdapt and Travel Spike, they are producing clicks. But when you then look at the cost per click, so Travel Spike was pretty efficient for the month of June, but StackAdapt is costing so much more than TikTok, kind of, again, going back to the same point that we just discussed, and kind of seeing the same thing on impressions. Just to give some background, not to get too technical, but one reason that TikTok is across the board is so cost efficient is because honestly, as far as social media goes, they have the best algorithm in terms of pairing people to what they're most likely to want to see. And that's really why we're seeing that high efficiency on TikTok. So I do think it's a good idea to, as we have been doing, reallocating more funds to TikTok, I think it's a good idea to take advantage of that, when possible year round. Any questions on the data by traffic source?
No, thank you.
Mm-hmm. And then I just want to give a general idea of, in terms of the top areas that we are currently targeting in terms of delivering impressions, and how it matched up with, as far as, just the month of June 2022, how it matched up to where people are coming into the island. I just wanted to showcase this because it does, showcase that, we are targeting where people are coming from. And then really, these smaller areas that could then eventually, increase to take up as much as we're getting from the Rio Grande Valley. But I also want to highlight that there are some out of state here that we haven't seen before, like Washington, like Georgia. That being said, I wouldn't really advise putting marketing dollars there until we see like a definitive pattern. But yeah, this is just to basically showcase that, the money's basically targeting where people are coming to the island from.
Thank
Any
you.
questions on this? All right. As far as in-house media buy, I just want to showcase that there was a in-house campaign for both print and digital. This was through Texas Monthly and Entravision, respectively. And then additionally, there was a television campaign done through KView, which specifically targeted Dallas, Houston, San Antonio, and Laredo. Again, this was more of an in-house campaign. And then I did want to segue that into web analytics because I believe the in-house campaigns do have a good effect on the web analytics. So not only due through the in-house paid media, but also because I know the in-house social media team does a lot on Facebook Live and on Instagram, and that kind of has translated to more visitors to the website. I know there's like a weekly Facebook Live and weekly Instagram story. I think that's definitely something that should be kept up because it's driving a lot of organic traffic. And then again, TikTok was a very high driver, and I believe that's mainly due to the paid media efforts. And then on a monthly basis, the web traffic did increase across all key metrics from the previous month. And then finally, what I wanted to highlight with the keyword analytics, kind of adding on to what the Z team talked about is, so really there seems to be 4 groups in terms of the types of keywords that are being targeted. Right now, the brand campaign is doing really well in terms of bringing people to the website, which is, of course, what you want to have. You want to own the brand South Padre. But we do think that there could be a conversation to be had about attributing more funding to the competitor words. And the competitor words would be things like the ZT mentioned, Texas beach destination, best beaches in Texas. So really things that would help boost South Padre Island in terms of when people search these keywords versus only just the South Padre related keywords. But any questions on this?
Has Z Team and Teresa responded to your recommendation on that? Because this has come up before.
Well, this is the first time we actually included it in our analysis, but yeah, they are aware and we are working with them too.
Okay.
Make sure that, you know.
In my mind, that's what I'm most comfortable with is reaching people that are looking for a beach vacation, not specifically South Padre Island. They're going to find us. We're easy to find. Anyway, thank you.
Yes, 100%. And yeah, I think kind of going back to like when you have people come from California and Florida and they want to see best beaches in Texas, you want South Padre in that top 5.
Yes.
So yeah,
I want to dominate that whole space.
Yeah.
I want them to not even know Port Aransas exists.
Yeah, and 100%. I'll go
Thank
into
you.
that. It all kind of ties together because when you do that, then you'll more than likely see that your hotel and vacation rentals KPIs kind of reflect the same thing as well. So 100% agree on that. Then we go into the traveler intelligence data. So looking at events, one thing we found interesting was that the annual LRGB Water Management Conference brought in a lot of trips, particularly day trips, as we're going to see in a later slide. But this was interesting because historically, usually the convention center events bring in the most trips. That being said, the convention center events, when we look at an overall percentage, did make up what is bringing in most of the trips. But we did think it was interesting that this water management conference did bring in a lot of same-day trippers to South Padre. And so, did we have any questions on this one? Okay. Sorry. Okay. Anyways, so just to kind of go into, okay, so this is really the first step of our customer segmentation analysis. So this is just the raw overall view of the past 12 months. Who are the people that are coming into South Padre Island? What's the demographic makeup? So what we're going to do is we're going to take this and then we're going to start breaking it down by season. And then we're going to see exactly who's coming by season. So we have an overall view of who's coming to South Padre Island in general, but who's coming each season, and then how can we target ads to those people based on when they're coming to the island. Again, this is just a preview slide essentially because, again, we're going to have the final version of the fall customer segmentation sent over tomorrow. But again, I just want to highlight the fact that we are working on this and we are actively going to be sending this to your team fairly recently. But any questions on this?
No, sounds good. Thank you.
Great start.
All right. Okay, so one thing that I wanted to highlight with our point of interest slides for this month. So the usual data source for our point of interest category, they had some issues with their data points this month. So what we did is we pivoted to using Google as our main data source for our points of interest. And we actually got some pretty interesting insights from Google. This kind of ties into the fact that so some of the things that can be beneficial for South Padre in terms of the reputation management things I talked about before is if we are seeing that there's already certain locations on Google My Business located in South Padre that have high numbers of reviews and also a good Google review scores, it would be beneficial, if possible, for South Padre Island to somehow have a link to their website on these particular websites as well. That kind of helps with the Google algorithm and would help not only your site get higher in terms of the search terms, but also would help these locations. And it's kind of like an additive effect in that way. So when we looked at the top categories by overall review score, when we looked at Google, hotels were fairly high ranked. Then there was restaurants. One thing that really stuck out to me was this Sea Turtle Inc. So this is I looked deep into this. This is like an animal protection organization, and they actually show they actually showcase, I guess, like demonstrations with their animals. And this seems to have gotten a lot of reviews and a lot of good reviews at that. So that's something interesting to know, and I think that might be a potential opportunity to showcase for South Padre if it's not already being done. Really, this turtle conservation.
Thank you, Atik. We have sea turtles everywhere. We have sea turtles coming out our ears. Every day, Sea Turtle Link comes up. Besides the beach, it's per square foot. It's our most popular attraction.
Got it. Okay. So yeah, it sounds like that's well covered. But yeah,
give us like another bright idea.
Same thing. All right.
I like that data though. That showcases a lot, primarily where our foot traffic is going to be.
Yeah, 100% agree. So one other thing that I did want to, this is basically the same data, but I only limited it to lodging destinations. And one thing I wanted to highlight here that I found a little interesting was when you look at the hotels, they do pretty well with about 4 to 5 star reviews, especially when you're looking at the ones that are most reviewed.
The Google review score is based on 5 being the best?
Correct, yes. So the one thing that was kind of interesting here was that, the one that was most reviewed did have a 3.4 review score. Again, that's not terrible, but you do want to see that more in the 4 and 5 star range.
They're working on it.
Kind of some initiatives to help with reputation management could help with that. I'm sorry, was there a question on that?
I'm just letting you know that resort is being worked on.
Got it. Okay. Well, great. Perfect. Then going forward. So I wanted to highlight this pattern when we look at day trips versus overnight trips. Firstly, I wanted to show that this July 5th date where that water management conference occurred, and now that I realize also 4th of July occurred, this could also be a reason for this, is really the highest amount of day trips that came to the island. But it seems that Saturdays is really when you're seeing spikes in the amount of day trips. Whereas overall, it looks like overnight trips are the majority of what's coming into South Padre Island for the month of June.
Thank you.
Mm-hmm. And then finally, for the economic impact report, I did want to showcase that as far as comparing hotel tax, sales tax, and property tax, hotel tax is the highest. So again, this is by date collected. So this is the amount of tax collected in June. And it does continue to be higher than both property and sales tax. Again, this is something we saw all of 2021, but I think we're seeing more of a substantial increase for hotel tax versus sales and property in 2022. And then I also wanted to highlight that the amount of spending on the island actually increased. That being said, I do think a large part of this is due to inflation. Any questions on
Atik,
this?
I'll tell you too that we saw a lot more cash being spent on the island last summer than we are this summer. So everyone's already putting themselves in debt. I can tell you that much.
Yeah.
We've seen an increase in credit card spending and a decrease in cash. And we know why. I mean, there was stimulus money and everybody was outside having fun.
Not according to the report, Sean. According to the report, the majority is being spent in restaurants on credit
No,
cards.
it's more credit cards, right? Last year, we had more cash. So they're using their credit cards more this year than they did last year.
That makes sense. Yeah.
The
And so, yeah, I
local
mean,
gas
just to highlight, this
station
is
here, I
purely
won't say
for
named
the
as their
credit
business, but they've seen just a huge swing this summer. And I like talking to businesses like that because it really gives you an idea of what's happening, especially with the day trippers, their spending habits.
Got it.
Is where we should be looking at that too, not just overnight stays all the time. Anyway, thank you, PDL. Go ahead.
Yeah, so that was basically all for our presentation. We did just want to highlight some of the key points. One being the Port Aransas, review site scores. We do think, and we're working with Lori and Teresa on this, that there are some ways that we can help increase the amount of reviews and the quality of reviews that South Padre Island is getting across all review sites. We do think that the slighter decrease in the number of travelers that we saw this year compared to last year were due to compounding effects, like we mentioned, of inflation, more international travel, along with gas prices. And then I did, again, want to highlight the Water Quality Management Conference was the most significant number of trips onto the island. But again, I wanted to also showcase that, that was on, so sorry, that was June 4th. So that wasn't even 4th of July. I don't know why I said that. But yeah, so I did want to highlight that the LRGB Water Conference did have the highest amount of visitors to the island associated with it. And that's, not accounting for another holiday during that weekend. Next step. So we will have our customer segmentation report sent over by end of day tomorrow. So you guys can get an idea of exactly who your fall audience is going to be. So you can therefore craft marketing campaigns towards that. We are going to be working with Laura and Teresa to potentially come up with a more in-depth competitor analysis with Port Aransas, potentially, with some other markets in Texas as well. And then obviously we're also going to work on some of the reputation management processes that we can use to, again, increase review scores, not only for South Padre, but potentially even also some of these locations in South Padre. And any other questions?
Great information.
Yes, as always, you guys are doing a great job with these dashboards. It really tells the story. What's going on around here?
Thank you. And in terms of moving forward, we have all the steps in place. We hear you. We're trying to move away from talking about what has happened in the past and moving more into the direction of predicting what will happen next. So it will take some time for us to see the ripple effects, but we're in the right path and we're working very closely with Lori, Teresa, now with Blake, and also with the Zimmerman team so we can optimize their campaigns as well.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, we'll move to item 5.2, presentation and discussion regarding the CVB monthly report. And April's under 30, and she's number 1.
How do I exit this?
Never mind.
IT, can we get the deck?
I'm sorry, who requested the deck? Was it Kristen?
IT, if we could mute Google Meets as well, just in case. So they don't. Thank you.
April Brown, Special Events, everyone's favorite department. So in June, we had the American Junior Golf Association at the Laguna Vista Golf Course, SPI Golf Course in Laguna Vista. We had over 13 states represented in 4 different countries. They actually hand wrote us 80 letters to me saying thank you for their gratitude.
Wow.
The feedback we got was it was windy, but it was a good challenge for them. They got a lot of exposure. They're all future, hopefully, Masters champions, so I will be keeping those cards just in case because they were addressed all to me. We also had the Beach Bass Skate Jam. It was the first annual skate competition and event at the skate park. Successful event, a lot of positive feedback. They are hoping to return next year and make it a 2 to 3 day event. So we're already looking at that to return. They're also looking at something else in the fall, so hopefully they come back sooner. And then upcoming events, we have Ron Hoover Fishing Tournament. That is this weekend at the Convention Center. And TIFT is the following weekend. And then after that, we have LKT, all coming back early August. In other news, we have 2 new turtles on the trail, one located at Morningside at Turtle Park. That is dedicated to the Turtle Lady. It's a beautiful piece if you haven't been able to see it. And then we also have one at the Brewing Company that was commissioned by Mark and at the Brew Pub. And USLA returns in 2024. We're excited to welcome them back in August. New lifeguards and a lot of returning. And we're excited to work with Chief Pig and Pedro over at the fire station on that tournament coming back. And then last but not least, as Blake mentioned, I was selected for Destination International's 30 Under 30. I was very excited to represent South Padre Island. Like you said, there was about 1,300 attendees and over 14 countries represented. Met a lot of really, really neat people, and I'm excited. It's about a year-long program that we get to be involved with, so I'm looking forward to getting new ideas and representing the island.
Wonderful. Awesome. Congratulations and thank you.
Thank you.
Just
on special events, I want to sit there and say that it is a much needed item, especially during the winter season. So as far as earlier what I said, as far as what we spend on special events, it's not to take away from special events. It's the fact of what we're spending, we still have to do that. We still have to have these special events. It's the fact of when we're spending 25 or 50,000, we just need to take into consideration, not to take away from it, because we still have to have these events, April, and you're doing a great job with it. I just want to make sure that we're aware of the dollars that we have in our budget, that we're still spending some of that on marketing for heads and beds. So by all means, don't take that as I want to take away from.
Don't get your feelings hurt, April.
Never.
I'm all about it because we all need it. So therefore, but no, thank you. I just want to make sure we're aware of when we're spending 25 and 50,000 and $5,000 brings us 1 million impressions. I just want to make sure that we're still apples to apples. But no, do not take any special events away by all means. So, but thank you, April.
Thank you,
April. Before you get away too, I'm sorry. We just love having you here. That's all. The doing a great job. Where do you see, to me, events continue to become really important in terms of getting people to the island, people seeing things to do. They come to the beach, that's wonderful, but the events also bring us a good name and understanding. Where do you see yourself going? Do you have enough in your department to work with in terms of the events? Because I know you're working a lot of hours and doing a lot of things. What else do you need, and where do you see the events going?
Yeah, I think we're going in a good direction. We have new events coming. We're looking at a Frisbee tournament coming. The golf tournament definitely wants to come back and at a bigger level. So we are talking with them, speaking with Blake and Lori about, it's still just me, so we're looking to hire one more person and hopefully getting more data with that person and doing a lot better tracking of our events as well.
It's the same thing everybody does. More staff, more money.
If it works.
Thank you, April.
Thank you.
Myra, looks like you've got a good list of meetings today.
I do. Excellent. Good morning. How is everybody doing? I want to start with the follow-up from our July visits and sales and our networking events. We had 2. We went to the Austin area and we were able to meet with 14 meeting planners. We did get 2 RFPs. One for 2023, which is the Texas Victims Services Association, about 500 room nights, and then also the 2026 Texas State Historical Association. That one's a little bit bigger. It's about 850 room nights, about 1,000 people. So we're going to work very closely with the meeting planner to accommodate more of a citywide event for them. And everybody interested in coming to site South Padre, that's the trend right now. We're getting a lot of requests. And one of the new words out there is hot grants. That is subsidy sponsorship being given through convention services. And that is something that we're going to touch and hopefully revamp our convention services program. We also had a small event here at the convention center. We had an open house, and what our goal was for that was to have our new meeting planners meet all our vendors, not only our hotels, but also our caterers, our activities, our restaurant. We did have a good response from our community. Thank you, everyone, for participating. We also had a couple of RFPs from there. One was somebody that we hadn't worked with before, with what is Aetna Insurance, and also a motorcycle law enforcement group that is coming in 2024, about 300 people. So it went very well. We'd like to keep that as a staple event, maybe change the date a little bit. With everybody changing staff, it became a challenge this year to try to get everybody together and finding out exactly what our group does and what the requirements and procedures are at the convention center. And that was geared more for our RGV partners. We do have a lot of fall travel, and we'll be emailing everyone to invite to participate with us. David's going to hit up the North Texas market in August for some sales calls in Houston, in September to Austin, in October again to Houston. In November, we're looking back at Austin, and we're going to end it up in Dallas in December. The event in November will be our holiday season kickoff, so it'll be a little bit different. We'll do more of a social event there and invite everybody to participate. The RGV market will be traveling the upper, the lower, and the middle RGV with Mariana, and hopefully a lot of your DOSs can help us on that. We are hoping to re-engage all of our meeting planners and have them back. So we did have our meeting planner redone and, covering all our bases everywhere we go. I did want to say for the month of October, since it was a hot topic a couple of minutes ago, we do have some new events coming. One of them that ended up being a special event is Bonsai Con. We'll start off with that at the beginning of October, and then we'll go on with the Region 1 coming in. We were also able to book Herbalife with about 500 attendees. They have their leadership weekend, and they're coming in for a Friday, Saturday, and Sunday event. Tropical Texas Behavioral is rebooking, and then we ended up with a new competition, the Bulldogs. So that is looking to about maybe 300 to 350 attendees.
Wonderful.
For our sales for the month of June, we ended up sending 31 leads. Room nights that were booked was 3,185. And in marketing, we are hoping to be able to confirm a FAM during the month of October, so we're busy. We've got about 7 meeting planners that want to come, representatives from Helm Briscoe. So that'll be something that, again, it'll be citywide, and we'll be reaching out to you guys to host them. And as I mentioned, with convention services, we're revisiting all of that and hoping to become very creative so we can be right there with all our competition, offering some of those hot grants. And I'll finish it off with letting you all know that we are offering some training this coming August, and that'll be on our SimpleView, which is our CRM program. But we are hoping to be able to get everybody to train on the extranet, which is not only for sales to respond to our RFPs, but also for Teresa with her marketing efforts to be able to get all the events on there and loaded without having to go through our staff. We're having on hands. We're having a trainer come down from SimpleView. He'll be here for 2 days. One is going to be dedicated completely to our staff for all the new team members that we have, and the second day will be geared towards all our partners. So we're inviting hotels and our VRMs, also our restaurants and our activities to come over and learn. It'll only be about an hour and a half. We'll be offering breakfast and lunch wherever it falls, and Q&A sessions, and hopefully getting everybody acquainted with our program.
For anyone that's listening, please send your employees to these training sessions. It helps the CVB help these independent businesses if they know how to use the software, and it's not that complicated. Thank you.
Any questions?
Great work.
Thank you.
Thank you, Mayor.
Thank you. Social media.
Sir. Again, Teresa Rodriguez, Marketing and Communications Manager for the CBB. We're going to the organic social media overview. We've been doing very good for the month of June. As you can see, the top post total engagements in Facebook, over 6,000 about the Texas Travel Awards that we were nominated as the best beach destination in Texas. Of course, our fireworks and anything about our beaches whenever we present a sunrise, sunset, and our beautiful water, then we have very good engagement. This is the Facebook video performance. Organic food, over 3,000, partial 27,000, and paid food 38,000. This is what we've been doing in-house. And when it says they pay full, that means that they spend more than 30 seconds on our page. Instagram, of course, we gained a total of 50,000 new members. It was an increase of 2.1. So this is a good growth for the Instagram audience. Again, the top post you can see is about our beaches, about the awards that we received this month. And TikTok top post, we went viral with the beach park, over 567,000 views, and it's kudos to our team and the creative team of Denise and Mauricio. They've been doing a wonderful job with the TikTok, the Facebook Live, and we keep on the engagement with our social media. The growth just for the month of June was over 27,000 followers. And of course, our session report, as you can see, this is not paid media. This is people talking about us. We have a total mentions for the month of June of 1,400. We have a total reach of over 6.8 billion people. And if we would have had to spend the money, we would have had to spend $13 million in advertising. They share the voice. We are second after Galveston, and just to give you a little bit of information, what are they talking about? Why Galveston is on top of us? They were talking about the cruise ships. Other than that, as always, we dominate the voice of Texas Gulf Coasts. And of course, the top stories, always Brownsville with the SpaceX. We had different stories that were talking about the Gulf, about the turtle rescue, and the different releases that they have. And I'm sorry that I don't know why it looks this way, but in the top locations of people talking about, of course, number one is United States with 1,300 stories, United Kingdom with 14 stories, India, 13 stories, Canada 8, Ukraine 6, Vietnam 6, and Mexico 5. Also, I put here on the top locations by state also, so you could see who's talking about us. As you can see, of course, Texas, California, New York, Ohio, Florida, Oklahoma, Washington, and Louisiana. One thing that I want to just to point out, remember in the month of, the end of May, beginning of June, we had the USS Kitty Hawk. And that's why we see that pattern of people from Washington, from Atlanta. Those people were trying from all over the United States to be here to say goodbye to the USS Kitty Hawk. So that's why we see that trend. And the PR efforts just for the month of June, we had 10 interviews, 5 press releases, 1 presentation, and then, of course, the live shows, interviews, and TV and radios between here in Texas and Mexico, it was 4. And then the total number of publications here on the United States, it were 15. And, of course, in the Mexico campaigns, we have different stories. We were on the cover of the La Carretera magazine from Nuevo León, the shopping, Empresas Monterrey, different publications in Monterrey, and different interviews that we've been doing at night on the radio stations in Monterrey. The in-house creator, we continue to
Teresa?
Yes, sir.
Can I, while you're on the Mexico question?
Yes, sure.
I don't know about everybody else, but I don't think I'm seeing as much from Mexico right now coming as I would expect, or at least that we've seen in the past right now. Is there a reason for that? Or are you guys experiencing the same thing?
I have some nationals. Yeah. I was going to say.
We were just talking about it, how many more we saw this year than last year.
Yeah.
Generally, they're going to be
compared to last year, we have way more. So, and usually it's, of course, the end of July, beginning of August. So right now we have quite a bit.
Do we know what they're going to look like come the middle of next month when we generally see a lot of them? Or is it just still too far ahead to see? I don't know.
Yeah, and then another thing is that their location, where they're coming from. And sometimes they don't say that I'm coming from Mexico, they're coming from the Valley, even though, their family made the reservations. There's so many different factors. I know that they had different options to visit, so that's why we had to continue following and targeting our Mexican audience.
You're doing great work there, and I appreciate that. I just didn't know if there was any other kind of attitude you're hearing from them in terms, because, the social talk down there is so important in terms of where they go.
Yes. Yeah, and we continue, and Blake is very strong to continue reaching out to the Mexican market. And as you can see on the social media, we're not just going to Monterrey, our traditional market. We're also going to Guadalajara. We're going to San Luis Potosí, or the central part of Mexico, and we have a lot of response from Mexico City. So we're reaching out to new markets in Mexico, and we're going to see that change. And for the fall, we're planning to do a stronger campaign on those areas.
Thank you.
And then this is the in-house creative. It's in tune to what we have in the U.S. market, just the translation and keeping the branding, keeping the same things that we've been doing here. As you can see, some of the billboards, Monterrey and Guadalajara and the Rio Grande Valley that we have. And of course, we continue supporting the groups and meetings with different publications and different ads that they've been asking us to support them. And I think this on the right that you see about Mariana, South Padre Island, and David. And then Mariana, we have a 2-page spread on the social life. And of course, we were very proud to receive the Texas Travel Awards, were named us the Destination of the Year for 2022. And we won a total of 6 awards, not only the Destination of the Year, but then also the People's Choice for Best Destination for Families, the statewide prizes for Best Brewery, the Best Instagrammable Spot, live music venue, the longboards, and the outdoor activity in the small market category. So we're very, very proud to continue promoting like what we were talking about. We are a beach destination, we are a family destination, and we had to continue focus on that. Also, with an update on the SBI CTA program, we have the newest 9 certified tourism advisors for a total of 80 certified tourism advisors. As you know, we started in May. It has been very successful. Our next 2 classes are going to be Tuesday, August 16, from 8:30 to 12:30, and then August 23 from 8:30 to 12:30. Please send your staff. Thank you so much for all of you that have been sending the staff and believing in this program. We have very good comments, and we want to continue doing this program and making everybody an expert on our destination, and feel very proud of what we have to offer to our visitors to create a great experience for them. Just to give you a little about that, I just received a confirmation from Channel 2 in Houston, NBC. They're going to do for us a 5-minute interview tomorrow morning at 7:45 about a last-minute summer trip to South Padre Island. So it's good. It's not going to cost us anything. I've been talking to them. Finally, they confirm it. They've been doing for Houston, San Antonio, Amarillo, and now they're doing it in South Padre Island. So tomorrow will be a 5-minute just for us.
Wonderful. Thank you.
Any questions?
Great stuff.
Thank you.
Excellent work, Teresa.
you.
Are we done with that report? I guess so.
Back.
Item 5.3, discussion and possible action to approve the funding request for the following special events, Sandcastle Days. All right, gentlemen, everybody knows Sandcastle Days.
Here we go again. April asking for money. Here we go.
Historically, the request was $35,000. Now it's 40. Last year they were given 40. The Special Events Committee approved the 40 this year.
Historically, it's supposed to fade out, isn't it?
Well,
just curious.
One of the local hotel operators used to comp the rooms for the sculptors, and last year they stopped doing that. So they need to pay for the rooms. That's the reason for the $5,000 increase.
Is that going to happen with future other special events when somebody else stops?
That happens all the time.
So we're going to have to keep increasing.
If their overhead increases, then, I mean, well, if we want to talk about Sandcastle Days, it's free, and the price tag got up to $90,000 before Clayton took it over.
I just had to make my comment. Just curious.
Is there any questions for April? Is there a motion?
Motion to approve.
I'll second.
40 grand.
It was already approved, right, by the Special Events Committee?
Correct.
Okay.
Unanimously, as I recall.
Okay, perfect. Sounds good.
Okay. Any more discussion? Okay.
I don't approve.
All right. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Motion carries. Thank you, April.
No more, April? No more? No more. Okay.
All right, Lori. Item 5.4, update and discussion on the fiscal year 21-23 budget for events, marketing, and marketing.
Cut.
No, we didn't. We didn't.
Spend it.
Good morning, Lori Moore, Operations and Services Manager. So just a quick update. When we came to you guys, I think it was either April or May, we had a discussion and we asked for an increase in events marketing and marketing. So I met with the budget committee internally and they approved them. So we are now starting our marketing budget at 4.1 and 4.1. And I wanted to tell you, Tom, because I know that you're big on the branding. I put the $100,000 request in for the brand development and it was approved. So that's in the budget, yes. And then for events marketing, we requested the increase to 850 and it was also approved. So we're getting an additional 254.
We're back to where we used to.
Pre-COVID.
Basically,
correct.
pre-COVID.
Yes. So those numbers all came through, they approved it, no problem. We're good to go.
Thank you. Does anybody have any questions for her?
I just wanted to also say publicly, thank you to the city council for supporting us
Absolutely.
in this effort. Mhm.
He's the only one here.
Thank you, Councilman.
All right.
Thank you.
Thank you. All right. When do you guys want to see us again?
I don't want to see you.
I don't want to see you either. I have to see you after this meeting. What's
August 24th at 9 a.m.
any conflicts, gentlemen?
Proposed date on a budget, on a fall workshop?
No. I'll have to talk to Blake and see what the schedule is, and we got to find out where we're going to meet and all that stuff. It's a lot of fun. So.
July 27th?
Today.
Yes.
Okay.
2 p.m.
All right. Thank you. All right. This meeting is adjourned.
Do that.